101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. Cold report today from Chris Anderson. Is it still cold out there? It is.
It's freezing outside. Winter showed up this year.
Yeah, it did. Chris Anderson is with us. White Township Manager joins us here on Indiana in the Morning, and our visit presented by Marcus and Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. So a lot going on, always is in White Township, well, let's start there with winter, because it certainly is breaking out all over, isn't it?
It is, and it is. I just said a little bit ago that winter showed up this year, and I know we talked a couple months ago about how do you plan for winter, and knowing that just this past week I signed a contract for salt for next winter already, and it's certainly a planning game. And in the last couple winters, we haven't used as much material as we have so far this season. So. There's snow on the ground. It's been on the ground. It's been freezing. Just going to ask people that, take extra care. And if they know it's going to snow, park the cars in the driveway, get off the road as much as you can, just so our plow trucks can, maintain the roadway. And also, if you have sidewalks on your property, it is required to keep those clean for any pedestrian that would want to use those. So, a couple reminders.
You can be very, very helpful there, and it also protects your car too, because flying snow, flying stones, and certainly there's the possibility that somebody could move over to let a plow go by and hit your car instead. So, however helpful you can be.
However helpful you can be. That's the best thing to do.
Yeah. All right. So just because we're snowing outside and freezing cold and everything doesn't mean that we can't think about what's going on underneath the roads and the yards and everything else. So there's some underground stuff to think about, including sanitary sewer works, huh?
Yeah. So big mention today is sanitary sewer taps. So White Township and Indiana Borough, we have a joint sewer committee, which basically oversees, or really doesn't oversee, but just coordinates on efforts at the regional treatment plant down there. And this year there was an upgrade for an agreement. The old agreement was from 2002, so it's been a long time. Yeah. So we did sign a 30-year agreement this year, and with that agreement, the price of sewer taps for White Township went from $1,800 up to $2,200. So there was a $400 increase. And those funds go directly into a account for upgrades to the treatment plant.
Yeah.
And then, underground as well, stormwater. We have put out to bid and awarded a contract to Curry and Keppel Incorporated. They're out of New Alexandria. They're going to do stormwater pipe, about 500 foot of 36-inch stormwater pipe on Heritage Run Road. Mm-hmm. So still doing projects. As weather goes and weather breaks, they'll be working.
I think it's pretty amazing when you consider exactly how much pipe there is underneath the ground, and when you consider storm sewers and sanitary sewers, water lines, all of these different things underneath the ground, and the hundreds of thousands of feet worth of line throughout the township, for instance. All of it needs to be maintained, and somehow it has to be monitored.
Yeah, I mean, we have, there's of township roads, we have about 85 miles of township roads in the township. And when you look at the stormwater infrastructure and the sanitary sewer infrastructure, we have about that many miles of stormwater and sanitary sewer lines. So we have that much infrastructure under the roads. And we camera that infrastructure because you can't visually see it. Mm-hmm. So we use our camera equipment, inspect it, sinkholes, they show us where issues are, but there's a lot of always work underground.
Do they still do smoke tests and things of that nature?
We do. We've gone away from it a little bit, but this year we do have, we pulled out some of the equipment, and we're going to get that fired up for this spring and start testing. And what it does is it finds where your leaky sewer pipes are, your leaky rain gutters are.
Yeah, those are all good things to do and to make sure of. Meanwhile, we talk a little recreation with you this morning, including big doings at the S&T Bank Arena.
Yeah, so we had the Charlie Hogan 12U and 10U tournament this past weekend. Lots of people in and out through the arena. We had the 10U, I believe, were the champions. 12U, they had a good tournament as well. 2 weeks here, we have the 8U. I didn't hear the latest count, but I think there's 15 teams so far signed up for that, or there are 15 teams. So it's going to be super busy over there at the arena next weekend. Indoor soccer, they were there last night. They're there a couple nights a week. We have the basketball court used nightly. We have the batting cages over there that people are hitting. Learn to skate going on. So lots of indoor activity over there.
Yeah, I remember.
CrossFit's always busy.
I was at the basketball game last night, and the Marion Center baseball team came in with their bats strapped to their shoulders. So they'd been doing some hitting and tossing the ball around. We're thinking about it, aren't we?
We are. It's soon enough. I know my daughter plays in an indoor tournament here in less than a month or so. So it's right around the corner.
Yeah. Spring training pitchers and catchers report February 13th. So.
Oof.
That's less than a month away now. Hey, also at the White Township Recreation Complex, that caretaker house there at the end of the lot, and end of the parking lot, that's gone now.
It is. We made the decision to demolish that caretaker house, and essentially what that does is that opens up that property there for recreational opportunities. And we used it as a caretaker home, and it just the maintenance just overwhelmed us. It was an older home, and we're at a point where we had to do some major improvements, or just kind of open the property up to some additional space, in which we chose to do so.
Yeah, got a nice pond there.
Yeah. So as we move into this spring, we're going to plan something for there. Like you said, there's a real nice setting there for a potential pavilion, for something there.
Yeah.
And we're also looking at some drainage opportunities up at the soccer fields.
Yeah, be very, very nice. You could have a really nice location there. So that goes on. Is that area all cleaned up of all the rubble from the house too?
Yeah, there's a couple low spots there. We ground up some of the rock and the concrete to use as the fill, but there wasn't enough. So we have some. When the weather breaks, we'll get some gravel over there and some dirt and get that all leveled off.
Let's drive away from there and go in another direction out to White's Woods as progress continues on that plan for the White's Woods.
Yeah, so December 18th, the White Township Supervisors made a motion and approved to send the draft stewardship plan that the stewardship committee drafted to DCNR for comments. So we will be awaiting DCNR comments, and then while I'm talking a little bit about White's Woods, at the Indiana County Decathlon are going to hold several walks, which they always do, and they're going to have February 22nd. They're going to have Kevin Patrick walk through White's Woods and give a history. If you know Dr. Patrick, he did write a book about spending a year in the Allegheny Forest, and some of that has some roots to White's Woods, so he'll be talking about some of his experiences walking through there.
Yeah, he's a good part of that program, and of course the Walkworks program there at White's Woods, also out at the Recreation Complex.
April 12th they'll be at the Rec Complex, and I believe Ryan Schaefer will be leading that walk.
Yeah. So some good things happening there with Walkworks, and it's great to see programs such as that working with the municipalities in which those events occur. Time to think about reorganizing for the new year, and you're working on that in White Township.
Yeah, so reorganization, supervisors reorganized January 6th. Sorry about that. So we had the rec board reorganized last evening. The auditors reorganized. Tonight's planning commission, full agenda for planning commission. We can get into that in a minute. But yeah, we're just getting back into the yearly, beginning of the year items and getting kicked off. And the next step is we have registration for our state conference, which kicks off here at 9 a.m. this morning. So lots of good things moving forward for the year.
Yeah. So what's happening with that conference?
It's just our annual.
Everywhere?
Just our annual state conference. Yeah. It's May 4th through the 7th this year. There's a little over 4,000 township officials get together down at the Hershey Lodge and have roundtable discussions, lots of work sessions, workshops. So it's a very big conference.
Yeah.
Good time.
Yeah. So all of that is going on. You mentioned Planning Commission. They'll be meeting tonight.
Yeah, a couple items to mention is we have Seven Brews Coffee Shop on the agenda. We have East Market Street Dental across the street from our office looking to do a little expansion. We have the subdivision land development ordinance. We're about at the point to open that 45-day public comment period. And the kind of the last big thing I'll mention is the 2024 planning report. And it kind of highlights some of the actions that the Planning Commission took over last year. It's a requirement for the MPC. And these last this last year was a very good year for the Planning Commission, and I hope it's a trend that's going to continue here into the future. It's nice to see the growth, the development, and smart growth. Infill, some redevelopment of some of these buildings. So that's what we like to see.
So what you're saying is that White Township, like most municipalities, isn't just bundling up underneath the comforter with a glass of hot chocolate for the month of January. There's a lot of busy things happening.
There is a lot of busy things here. And, there's really no downtime at the township. We're always doing something.
Yeah, good things underway there. Well, thanks so much for coming in and telling us all about it. Supervisors will be meeting when?
We'll be meeting, I believe
23rd.
It's 22nd, I think.
22nd.
22nd at 7 p.m. in the evening.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, Todd.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. We're 3 minutes